Hi everybody, welcome to Pure Yoga and the chakra of the crown, which is the Sahasrara chakra. So this is our place of bliss when everything is built and working right in the other 6 chakras. This is when the top chakra is in alignment. So this top chakra is the colours of either pink, gold or white. These are the colours that people see when they're in this state. So basically this is what all people aim to be, this blissful, beyond self kind of place. It's a place of selflessness and unity, and as we know, yoga means unity. So if this place is out of function and not functioning well, the emotional side of things can be depression, obsessional and confusion. But the physical side of dysfunction, it's can be a pollution sensitivity, so people can get really sensitive to the outside world, exhaustion and memory lapse. So quite often people with dementia are known to have an imbalance in this chakra. So when you get to this place, you tend to find that you have a lot of gratitude, you have a lot of faith in people and trust in people. And it's a place of serenity, so you find a lot of joy and a lot of peace here. So it's all about working with the other 6 chakras to make that 7 chakra spin well. So if a chakra in the middle, say the heart, isn't working properly and it's dysfunctioning and it's not spinning like that spinning vortex normally does, it will block that space, and you have to work on that space to allow that energy to pass up. So we will be working on that Sahasrara chakra today. It's going to be quite a strong Vinyasa practice, but we're going to be doing 3 different breathing exercises, and they're going to come at different stages through the practice. We're going to start off with the stronger Kapalabhati practice, then we're going to move to the alternate nostril breathing practice, and then we'll move then at the end of the class to that 4 breaths in, hold for 2, 5 breaths out. So in between that strong practice, we bring ourselves back to that place of calm, place of bliss. So the first breathing practice is quite strong, and it's that real reduce that belly, that real constriction of the belly, and you keep pumping that breath out. So we're going to start in seated. So you can either be on the knees or with crossed legs, whichever seems to work for the most comfort for yourself. I'm going to stay in crossed knees. I'm going to take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, then let them release back down towards the hips. Take a close of the eyes, then just bring those hands onto the belly. So when you've closed those eyes, just take a scan of the body from the head down to the toe tips, down to the fingertips, and just have a little check-in with how you feel you've arrived at practice. Noticing whether you have any tight spots, tension spots, if you're looking after any injuries. I know I'm looking after a wrist injury at the moment, so I'll be taking it very careful as I do the sun salutations of these practice. So take that scan of the body. So when you've taken the scan of the body, just notice the breath. Are you breathing high up in the chest? Are you breathing into that lower rib cage, or are you already breathing quite deep into that belly? If you've got that higher breath in the upper part of the chest, quite often that's an anxious breath. Just see whether you can take a long deep breath in through the nose and a couple of sigh out through the mouth. Do that a few times just to see whether you can find a little deeper inhale and a longer exhale. See whether you can send that breath down into the belly. As you breathe in, let the belly blow up like a balloon on the inhale. As you breathe out, that belly draws back towards the spine on the exhale. Keep those breaths coming nice and deep, in through the nose and out through the mouth for a moment. While you're doing those few breaths, remember that Kapalabhati breath there. It is where you have that sharp exhale and the belly draws back and you have a very small inhale, and we pump that breath for 20 breaths. And we'll do 2 rounds of that Kapalabhati breathing. So start to bring that breath now in and out through the nose. In through the nose, long deep breath in, and then breathe out completely through that nose. Take a breath into halfway, then sharp exhales out. Take another long deep breath in, long breath out. Deep breath in, long breath out. Breathe into halfway. Sharp exhales out. Take a long deep breath in, open the eyes. Long breath out. Making your way onto your feet to the front edge of your mat. So bringing yourself to that short edge. Hopefully you have that mat facing the camera. Have that space between the feet, hip width apart. And just find that standing pose. Relax the shoulders. Take a breath in, bring the hands up to the ceiling, bring the fingertips together, interlace, and then take that bend over to your right side. Relax through the shoulders, try and keep the hips neutral in the center. Get that lateral bend. Trying not to push that left hip over to the right, but feel that grounding through that left foot. Come back to the center and take it over to the other side. Still grounding this time through the right foot. Relaxing through the shoulders, lengthening through the arms. Lateral flexion to the left. Bring that body back to the center. Release the grip. Send the left hand forward, right hand back, but try not to turn from the hips. Take the rotation through the waist. Bring the hands back up to the center. This time bring your right hand forward, your left hand back, and rotate to the left. Come back to the center. Bring the hands together and then cactus the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift up the chest into a little back bend, mainly through that upper thoracic spine. Gazing up to the ceiling, lifting up through those ribs. Bring those hands back up to the center and then release those hands down by the sides of the body. Take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, back down towards the hips. Starting with a very easy sun salutation. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. As you breathe out, bend the knees as much as you need to bring the hands down towards the mat. Your next breath in brings you to a half lift, hands on shins. Your breath out, release the hands back to the floor. Step your right foot back, step your left foot back. Then drop down the knees. Start to release down towards the floor. Lift up with the chest. Release that chest back down. Tuck under those toes. Bring those chests back towards those thighs. Push into those hands and feet as you lift up the hips and squeeze those heels back. Take a couple of breaths here. Long and through the crown, all the way through that spine. Lifting the hips. If you're paddling the feet, paddle the feet. Or if you're trying to get that stretch through those back of the legs, maybe just encouraging the heels back already. Your next breath in, step your right foot to the front of the mat. Step your left foot to meet the right. And then forward fold over the legs. Next breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together at the top. Your next breath out, release, fold over those legs. Let the head hang, crown towards the floor. Breath in, come up to a half lift, hands on shins. Breath out, release those hands to the floor. Step this time your left foot back. Step your right foot back to meet the left, plank position. Release to the floor, either dropping the knees or straight bodies. When you get to the mat, untuck the toes. Push into the hands, lift up the chest. Release that chest down, tuck under those toes. Bring those chests back towards those thighs. Push into those hands and feet as you lift up the hips. Either go straight to stretching through the back chain or have a paddle through those feet. Have maybe a little nod and shake of the head. Then gaze in between the hands. Your next breath in, step your left foot forward, your right foot forward. Allow the body to fold over the legs. Next breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Palms come together. Release the hands then to the chest. Take a moment here in standing. Next breath in, raise the hands towards the ceiling. Your breath out, release those hands down towards the floor. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Then step your left foot back, drop that back knee, uncurl those back toes. Raise the arms out and up to the ceiling and sink in to that left hip. Bending as deep into that right knee as you can. Grounding through the floor, so thinking of that first chakra as you push into the mat. Stabilizing here. Then release those hands down to either side of that right foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee. Straighten the front leg to pyramid pose. Both legs nice and straight. If you're struggling to reach the floor, bring the hands onto that right ankle or shin. Lift up through the chest, then fold over that right leg. Then take a bend back into that right knee, raise the hands up to the ceiling, coming into your high lunge position. Back leg straight, front knees bent, push strong into the mat, so into the toes of the left foot and the whole of the right foot. Hold it here for one more breath. Then bring the hands to the chest, step forward back to the front of the mat. Release the hands down by the sides of the body. Breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling. Your breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, step your right foot back. Drop your right knee and uncurl those back toes. Bring the arms out and around and up to come to low lunge. Sink nice and deep into those hips. Maybe gaze towards those hands. Grow up through that crown, that chakra, that 7 chakra. Sink those hips a little lower. Then bring those hands back down to either side of that left foot. Tuck under the back toes, lift up the back knee, straighten the front leg, either keeping the fingertips on the floor or bringing those hands onto that shin or ankle. Breathe in, elongate the spine, breathe out and fold over that leg. So you've really got to stabilize the feet here to hold the balance if the hands aren't grounded. Fingertips can be on the floor if you wish. Then take a bend back into that left knee. Raise those arms back up to the ceiling, this time finding your high lunge. Maybe gaze up to those hands, back leg straight. Try and keep that pelvis tucked under. Try not to flare the ribs. Bring the hands to the chest. Step forward to the front of the mat. Take a breath out. Release the hands down by the sides of the body. Sun salutation. Breathe in, lift the hands to the ceiling. Breathe out, fold over the legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, step your right foot back. Step your left foot back. And release down to the floor, straight bodies, or hover maybe. Roll over the toes, lift up that chest. Either upward facing dog or baby cobra. Then either chest back to thighs or lifting those hips. Squeezing those heels back to downward facing dog. Look in between the hands, step your right foot through, in between them. Step the left foot to meet the right, just allow the body to fold over the legs. Your next breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. Bring the hands to the chest. Same on the left side, breathe in, raise the hands. Breathe out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, step your left foot back. Step your right foot back. Release to the floor or hover. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or lifting the hips. Finding that A-shaped downward facing dog position. Feet shoulder width apart. Feet hip width apart, hands shoulder width apart. Then gaze in between the hands, step your left foot forward, your right foot forward, and allow that body to fold over the legs. Breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, release the hands to the chest. So we're going to add 2 balancing poses on here and then add warrior 2 on the end. So we're doing exactly what we've just done in that first round, but adding a couple more poses on. So just keep an eye and a listen out to where we're going. Release the hands down by the sides of the body. Breathe in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breathe out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, step your left foot back, drop the back knee and curl the back toes. Raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms come together, sink into the hips. Release the hands down to either side of the right foot, tuck the back toes under, straighten the front leg to our pyramid pose. Then bend that front knee and reach up with the arms, high lunge. Bring the hands then to the chest. Step forward onto that right foot, bring that left knee through. Turn that left knee out. Bring your left ankle onto the top of the right thigh. Find that figure 4 balancing pose. Keep the focus on something in front of you. Think of that chakra, the top of the head, the crown chakra. Grow up towards that ceiling with that crown. Tuck that tailbone under. So we're taking this to half moon. So straighten up through the right leg, send the left leg back, your right hand comes to the floor and your left hand lifts. And we turn and open the chest towards that left side of the mat. Try and get that left leg in line with the hip. Maybe just hover those fingertips off that mat. Turn the shoulders, maybe turn the gaze to the side of the mat or up to that left hand if you can balance with that. One more breath here. Then bend that right knee, bring that left foot to the back of the mat and find warrior 2 here. Sink into that right leg. Gaze towards those right fingertips, lengthen through the arms, relax through the shoulders. Warrior 2, long breaths in, long breaths out. The crown of the head stacking on top of all those other 6 chakras, creating that space from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Bring that left arm down around, find high lunge again. Bring the hands back to the chest. Step that left foot back to meet the right. Take a moment here. Next breath in, raise those hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, this time step your right foot back. Drop your back knee and uncurl those toes. Bring the hands out up towards the ceiling. Sink into those hips. Then bring those hands down either side of that left foot. Tuck your back toes under, straighten the back leg, straighten the front leg to pyramid pose. Take a bend back into that left knee. Raise the hands up towards the ceiling to your high lunge. Maybe gaze towards those fingertips. Bring the hands to the chest. Step forward onto your left foot. Bring your right knee through to hip height. Turn that knee out. Bring the outside of the right ankle onto the top of the left thigh. And take a bend into that left leg. And find something to focus on in front of you. Something that's not moving. Switch off from everything else around you. Use that drishti point. Remember that third chakra. Those points of focus. Seeing, visualizing what you wish to do. Then straighten up through that left leg. Send the right leg back. The left hand towards the floor. Turn the hips and the shoulders. Raise the right hand to the ceiling. Finding your half moon pose. Holding with stability, using that chakra at the base of the spine, the fluidity of the pose with the second chakra, the fire in the belly, then to find warrior two. So drop that right foot back, lift the shoulders over the hips and sink into that left knee. Push energetically through the outside of that right foot. Sink that left knee a little closer. So that thigh on the left is a little more parallel towards the floor. Relax the shoulders, lengthen the arms. Create space through that fourth chakra, the heart chakra. Space in that chest. Then bring your right arm down around and bring it up. Find high lunge for a breath. Bring the hands back to the chest. Step that right foot back to meet that left. Take a moment here. Then we're going to do 2 sun salutations, stepping back with the right first, stepping back with the left second. Next breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Take a breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in comes up to a half lift. If you wish to step or jump back to Chaturanga, feel free to do so. I'm taking a step back with the right, step back with the left to plank. And then releasing down either to the floor or hover, rolling over the toes, lifting the chest. Making our way back to down dog, either chest to thighs or lifting those hips with straight legs. Finding downward facing dog for a couple of breaths. Maybe now those back chain of muscles are getting a little more flexibility through them and you can start just to hold that down dog rather than paddle. Gaze in between the hands, step your right foot through, step your left foot through and allow that body to fold over the legs. Next breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, fold back over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, choice to jump or step back or step the left foot back, the right foot back to plank. Release down, either to the floor or hover. Roll through up and lift up the chest. Making your way back to down dog, chest to thighs or rolling straight over those toes. Lifting the hips back to down dog. So I'm not jumping back as I've got a wrist injury. So in yoga, we really need to listen to how our bodies work. If we're holding injuries, step it back. Take a long breath in, long breath out. Next breath in, step that left foot through. Step your right foot to meet the left and allow that body to fold. Your next breath in, raise those hands towards the ceiling. Bring the palms together at the chest. Come down onto the knees. Bring the sit bones to the heels, or if you wish to find a more comfortable position, feel free to do so. We're going to take our alternate nostril breathing here. Bring your right hand up to your face, right thumb on the right nostril, middle finger and index finger on the forehead, last 2 fingers by the side of the left. Close the eyes, breathe in and out through that left side with that right side blocked off. Notice the clarity of the breath on the left nostril. Breathing nice and deep in and breathe out. A complete breath, not using the mouth at all, just using that left nostril, being aware of that clarity on this side. When you get to the top of the in-breath on the left, close the left off with the fourth finger and breathe in and out then through the right side, releasing that right thumb off that right nostril. Long breaths in, nice and deep into the belly if you can. Long breaths out. So we're bringing ourselves to that place of calm. The next time you get to the top of the in-breath on the right side, close the right off, breathe out through the left. When you've breathed back in through the left, got to the top of the inhale, close the left off and breathe out through the right. In through the right, close the right off, out through the left. And keep those breaths coming in and out through alternate sides. Noticing whether one side feels clearer than the other, whether it's the masculine or feminine side. Just noticing how the mind feels as you take yourself to this space of calm, these breathing exercises. Bringing ourselves into balance. Getting ready for the next stages of the flow. We're building up that flow, so it's nice to bring a little calm in the center of the practice with breathing exercises. Creating a little more energy, a space of calm so we can hold those balances a little longer, a little stronger. When you next take your exhale out of the left side, release the hands back to the thighs. Make your way back up to standing at the front of your mat. Into that standing anatomical position, that mountain pose. Feel the feet hip width apart. Take a breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms come together at the top. Then as you breathe out, fold over those legs, bring the hands to the floor. Breath in comes to a half lift. Breath out, step your left foot back, drop the back knee and curl those toes. Breathe in, bring the hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. Then as you breathe out, bring those hands down by the side of the right foot, tuck the back toes under. Both legs come straight to pyramid pose. Then take a bend back into that front right knee. Raise those hands again back up to the ceiling. Palms come together to the high lunge place. Bring the hands to the chest and step that left foot through. Knee up to hip height. Turn the knee out. Place the outside of the ankle onto the top of the right thigh. Sink into your figure four balance. Holding it for a couple of breaths here. Then straighten up through that right leg, send your left leg back, your right fingertips to the floor, lift that left hand, turn the shoulders and the hips to the left side of the mat. Just holding it for a couple of breaths here. Strong in that standing right leg. Then bend that right knee, find your warrior two. Arms come out to shoulder height. Long breaths in and long breaths out. Straighten your front leg. Reach forward and down with your right hand as your left hand lifts. Find triangle pose, pushing strong into both feet, softening that right knee a little bit so we're not hyperextending that joint. Maybe that gaze to that thumb. Think about that crown chakra pushing towards the front of the mat, creating a nice long line from the crown down to that root chakra at the base of the spine. Then take a bend back in both knees. Turn your right palm, Reach forward, reverse warrior. Send that right hand to the ceiling. Maybe the left hand comes around the back of the body to find a bind onto that right thigh. Sink into that right knee a little further. Try not to get too much of an arch in that lower back. You pinch that lower spine and it feels tight. Try and tuck that tailbone under a little more. Then bring the arms back to warrior two. Bring your left arm down around, find high lunge position. Bring the hands then to the chest. Step forward, back to the front of the mat. Release the hands down, send them back up to the ceiling, bring the palms together at the top. Then fold over those hips, bringing the hands back down towards the floor. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, step your right foot back, drop the back knee and curl the back toes. Arms come out, around, back up to the ceiling to find that low lunge. Sink into the hips. Then bring the hands down to either side of the left foot, tuck the back toes under, straighten the back leg, straighten the front leg to your pyramid pose. Then bend back into that left knee. Bring the arms up towards the ceiling to find that high lunge position. Then bring those hands to the chest. Step forward onto that left foot. Bring that right knee through. Turn the right knee out, outside of the right ankle onto the top of the left thigh and sink in to that left knee. Holding it in the balance for a couple of breaths. Keep your focus on something that's not moving. Crown tall, tailbone tucked. Then straighten up through that standing leg. Send the right leg back, the left fingertips to the floor. Turn the shoulders and the hips out towards that right side of the mat to find that half moon pose. Holding again here for a couple of breaths. Left leg straight, right leg straight. Then take a bend into that left knee, drop the right foot back, find warrior two. Sink into those hips. Lengthen through the shoulders. Crown of the head up, tailbone tucked. Then straighten that front leg. Reach forward and down with the left hand as the right hand lifts. Find triangle towards that right side. Gaze up to that right thumb if that neck is happy to do so. Try not to hyperextend that left knee. Tuck that left bum cheek under, turn the right hip out. Right shoulder stacking on top of the left. Feel like you're reaching up with the right fingertips and down with the left to create that space in the chest, that heart chakra. Head in line with the spine to give that balance of the throat chakra. Working through all 7 chakras as we do our poses. Your next breath in, bring the shoulders over the hips. Find warrior two legs. Then reverse that left palm, reach forward. Find reverse warrior, gazing up towards that left hand. Right hand can find a bind onto that left thigh. Try not to arch too much in the back. It's more about the lengthening of the left side than it is a back bend. Try and keep bent into that left knee. Keep pushing into that right foot. One more breath here. Then find warrior two. Then find high lunge. Hold it for a breath. Bring the hands then to the chest. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Hold it here in mountain pose before we take our 2 sun salutations. Release the hands down. Your next breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Your breath out, fold over the legs, straight legs or bent. Breath in, half lift. Jump or step back to plank or chaturanga. And then release down to the floor. Or hover, roll through, up, lift up the chest. Find your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing the heels back. Hold it in down dog for a couple of breaths. Gaze in between the hands. Step or jump to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold over the legs. Your next breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. Palms come together. Breath out, hands to the chest. Breathe in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, step your left foot back or jump back. Find your flow to the floor. So these sun salutations create more of a fluid movement, working with that second chakra, that creative chakra. Find that grounding now with the hands and feet as you get back to down dog to work that first chakra, the root chakra. Then step that left foot or jump forward to the front of the mat. Allow the body to fold over the legs. Next breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. Bring those hands back to the chest. Ready to add a little more on to this standing flow. So I'll be adding something on at the end, which is again half moon. So we'll be taking it back to half moon, and then we'll be coming to standing staff, which is a one leg balance, either with the lifted leg straight or bent. But I'll give you those options when we get there. Then we bring it back to that figure 4. So 3 more standing balances at the end. Think about everything being calm, everything being relaxed. Release the hands down by the sides of the body. Breath in, raise the hands up to the ceiling. As you breathe out, fold over those legs. Next breath in, half lift. Then step your left foot back, drop the back knee, uncurl the back toes, raise the arms out, and then up, sink into the hips. Bring the hands down to either side of the right foot, tuck the back toes under, straighten both legs to pyramid pose. Then take a bend into your right knee and bring the hands up and out. Lift them up to high lunge. Bring the hands to the chest. Step forward onto your right foot. Bring that left knee through. Turn that left knee out. Bring the outside of the left ankle to the top of the right thigh and bend into that standing right leg just for a couple of breaths. Then straighten up through that standing leg. Send the left leg back. Right fingertips to the floor, left fingertips to the ceiling to find that half moon pose. Holding it for a couple of breaths. Bend in then to your front right knee. Step the left foot back and find warrior 2. Holding it here for a breath. Then straighten through that front leg. Reach forward and down with the right hand to find triangle pose to the left side of the room. Hold it for a breath. Then bring yourself back to warrior 2, bending into that front knee. Reverse the palm, reach forward, send it up to the ceiling, left hand down the leg or around the back of the body to find the bind. Hold it for a breath. Then from this position, we're going to transition back to half moon. So bring your right fingertips to the floor, step onto your right leg, lift your left leg up to hip height, turn that chest again to that left side, straight legs on both, left heel pushing back, left toes back to the shins. Then bringing yourself around, sending your left foot forward, or your bent knee, so you can either be bent knee here or a straight left leg into staff pose. Holding it here for a couple of breaths. Your choice to where you take that left leg. Stronger the longer you make that limb. Then bend that left knee, bring the hands to the chest, refind that figure 4 position. Long, easy breaths, holding this figure 4 for a fair few breaths. Really finding that focus, knowing We're balancing all those chakras from the base to the crown of the head to find that fluidity, creativity, fire in the belly, passion, that communication from mind and body, that intuition to know where you're going with the poses, that intuition to know where your body needs looking after and where it doesn't. One more breath here. Then straighten up through that right leg, bring your left foot back to the floor, take a paddle of the feet. So well done if you've got through all that transition of poses, not easy, but we have to take it on the other side as well to keep everything in balance, the equilibrium of the whole of the body. So hopefully having taken those alternate nostril breathings in the middle, it's helped you keep calm, help you keep stable, trying to find that blissful state of yoga. Take the hands down by the sides of the body. Breath in, raise those hands up towards the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Breath out, step back with your right foot, drop your back knee and curl the back toes. Bring the arms out, around, up, sink into those hips. Bring those hands back towards that left foot, tuck your back toes under, lift the back knee, straighten that front leg, pyramid pose. Bend back into that left knee. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling, high lunge. Bring the hands to the chest and step that right foot through and up to hip height. Turn the right knee out, right ankle onto the top of the left thigh. Take a bend into that left knee. Just find figure 4 for a breath. Then straighten up through that left leg, send that right leg back, left fingertips to the floor, right fingertips to the ceiling to find that half moon balance, chest and hips turn to the right. Then take a bend into the left knee, drop the right foot to the floor, find warrior 2, sink the hips. Straighten that front leg, reach forward and down with the left hand as the right hand lifts. Maybe gaze up towards that right thumb, take a breath in triangle. Then bring those shoulders back over those hips, take a bend back into that front knee, back to warrior 2. Then reverse the warrior, reach forward with the left palm, send the left hand up, right hand either down the back of the leg or to find a bind on that left thigh. Breathing into that left rib cage. Transitioning from here to half moon. So step forward onto that left foot, lift that right leg back up to hip height. Turn those shoulders, turn those hips to the right side. Maybe the gaze down to the side or up to that right hand. Right toes back to the shin, push that right heel away. Then turn the hips. Raise the hands, bring that right leg through. Either keep it bent or straighten that right leg out. Holding it in staff pose for a couple of breaths. Nice, easy breaths in, easy breaths out. Then bend that front knee, bring that right ankle onto the top of the left thigh. Bring the hands to the chest. Sink into that left knee to find that figure 4 again. Holding it here for a few breaths. Feeling that base foot grounding, those hips level. Noticing how everything in that body and mind feels. Then straighten up through that left leg. Bring your right foot back to meet the left. Finishing off with 2 rounds of sun salutation. Release the hands down by the sides of the body. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Choice to jump or step back to plank or chaturanga. And then release to either hover or to the floor Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, lifting the hips or chest back to thighs. Holding it in down dog for a couple of breaths. Next breath in, step your right foot through in between the hands, step your left foot to meet the right. Allow the body to fold over those legs. Breath in, bring those hands back up to the ceiling, palms come together at the top. Breath out, hands to chest. Breathe in, raise the hands up towards the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in, half lift. Step or jump back, chaturanga or plank. And then release to the floor, your variation. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog. Remember you have this chest to thigh option, or rolling over those toes with straight legs. Take a couple of breaths in down dog. And then gaze in between the hands, step or jump. Left foot forward, right foot forward, fold over the legs. Breathe in, raise the hands up to the ceiling, palms come together. Breath out, release those hands to the chest. Just take a moment here in standing mountain pose. So all those poses that we've done with those add-ons can all be passed. We've been, we've done, we've finished with those. We just have another little flow to do at the end, which is fallen triangle. So if we just take this moment just to breathe, just to find that place of stillness before we move on. It's going to be fallen triangle into a seated fold into a version of wild thing. Release the hands by the sides of the body. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, fold over those legs. Breath in comes up to a half lift. Breath out, plant the hands, step one foot back, step the other foot back. Release down to the floor. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, where we'll stay to finish our last little flow before we come to our last breathing practice. So think of that crown pushing forward, that heels pushing down, that tailbone shining up to the ceiling. Nice, long, easy breaths. Your next breath in, raise that right leg. Bring that knee to the chest. Thread that right foot underneath that left leg and left hand. Put the weight into the right hand as you raise that left hand to the ceiling. Fallen triangle, holding it for a couple of breaths. Then drop that back heel, drop that right hip. Turn both sets of toes to the ceiling. Turn the shoulders to the right leg. Breathe in, raise the hands. Breathe out, fold over that right leg. Just bring the hands to wherever they reach. Elongate on the inhale, fold on the exhale. Keep that left sit bone grounded to the floor. Then walk the hands around towards that left foot. Fold over that left leg. And then bring that left hand behind you, fingertips point to the back, raise the right hand to the ceiling, push into the heels, lift up the hips, send that right hand back to the back of the room. Weight is on the left hand and on the heels of both feet. Wide leg, wild thing. Keep pushing those hips up a little higher. Keep reaching through those right fingertips. As you breathe out, slowly bring that left hip back down, right hip back down. Breathe in, lengthen up through the arms. Breathe out, fold over that left leg. Elongate on the inhale, keep pushing that right sit bone back. Fold on the exhale. Then walk the hands back around towards that right foot. Breathe in, breathe out, and fold. Then bring those hands back to the front of the mat. Come and find the toes of that back foot. Lift that right leg back to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the left. Take a paddle of the feet. Little movement through those hips, nod and shake of those heads. Then bring those heels to stillness, a vinyasa of your choice here. Come forward to plank, release down to the floor or hover, roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back. So I'm just going to change direction so I don't hit my sofa. You stay where you are unless you have to yourself at home. So same on that left side. So breathe in, lift that left leg up towards the ceiling. Then as you breathe out, bring that knee to the chest, thread the left foot underneath the right, lift the right hand, fall in triangle, open the chest, push it into the outside of the left foot and the whole of the bottom foot, back foot. Then drop that right heel, bring that left sit bone down, right sit bone down, reach up with both hands facing towards that left foot and fold over that left leg. Use the breath. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and fold. Find that fluidity of the inhales and exhales. Second chakra. Walk the hands around towards that right foot. Again, breathe in, elongate. Breathe out and fold. Use that breath. Find that range of movement for you. Your next breath in, lift up the chest. Bring your right hand behind you, lift the left hand to the ceiling. Push into that right hand as you lift the hips, pushing into those heels. Left hand points back. Try and open through that chest, that heart chakra, the fourth chakra, the bridge between the physical chakras and the spiritual chakras. Feel that crown pushing towards the back of the room. And then slowly let that right hip come down, left hip come down. Reach up with the arms, face towards the right foot. Start to fold over that right leg. Bringing that chest towards the thigh, relaxing through the shoulders. Long, easy breaths. Walking the hands around then towards your left foot. Breathe in, lengthen. Breathe out and fold. See whether you've come a little lower maybe on this side as we've taken these folds over the legs on the other side. And then bring those hands back round to the front of the mat. Come onto the toes of the back foot. Raise that left leg to the ceiling and bring it back to meet the right. Find that downward facing dog, feet hip width apart. Last vinyasa of the day. Come forward to plank. Unless you choose to do this twice. Release to hover or to the floor. Roll through, up, lift up the chest. Make your way back to down dog, chest to thighs, or lifting those hips, squeezing those heels back. Make your way into a seat, bringing your feet to the front of the mat. I'll mirror image you now from here. So take a bend into your right knee. Bring that right foot as close towards that right bum cheek as you can. And then just let that chest come to the inside of that that right thigh. Bring your right arm forward and reach as forward as you can, trying to bring that right shoulder in line with that right knee. Then turn the palm and bring that hand back, either to grab a clothing, or if you're going with the bind, reach forward with your left hand, turn the palm, reach it behind the back, maybe find the fingertips or just clothing. So your left leg's nice and straight, left toes active. Elongate the spine on the inhale, fold on your exhale. Nice, long, easy breaths. Grounded through both sit bones. Starting to cool that practice down, starting to bring some more restorative poses into the work. Try and draw that chest a little closer. Quite often it's abdominal strength that will bring that body closer towards that thigh. One more breath here. Then bring that chest back up, release the bind or clothing, straighten your right leg back out, and then take a bend into your left knee. Bring that left foot towards the left bum cheek, just slightly away from that right thigh. Reach forward with that left hand, left shoulder come into that left knee. Then turn the palm and find clothing, or reach forward with your right hand, turn the palm, bring it behind the back, interlace the fingers. Breathe in, elongate, breathe out, and fold over. This time that right leg. So right toes are active, push the right heel away, right toes back to the shins, and feel that abdominal contraction drawing you over that straight leg. Keep hugging that left knee into the side of the ribs. Keep pushing into that big toe on that left foot. Try and keep that sit bone on that left side as grounded as you can. One more breath here. Then release the bind. Take a straightening through those legs. And just find your way onto your belly. Just to take a couple of back bends before we finish with our bumblebee breath in seated. Bring the bellies to the floor. Hands by the sides of the chest. Roll the shoulders back. Push into the hands. Take it into a little baby back bend. And then see whether you can release the hands away from the floor to use the strength of the back to lift that chest. Maybe include those feet. Holding in this position, maybe just grazing the floor with the upper part of the thighs. Putting the stress onto the belly and the lower ribs. Release the feet, release the hands, release the chin. Bring the hands down by the sides of the body, palms face in. Breath in, lift up the chin, the chest. Maybe lift the hands away, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Maybe lift up those feet. Just holding just for another couple of breaths here. So we're going to take ourselves now onto our backs. Release everything down. Spin yourself around onto your back, just to take a few moments in relaxation, just to consolidate the practice before we come back up to seated. To do, I think, a bumblebee breath, just to allow everything to come internal. So relax through the feet hip width apart or mat width apart. Just try and tuck the tailbone towards the front of the mat to take that arch out of the lower back if it's impinging a little. Maybe rock those hips. Turn the fingertips and the palms up and let the fingertips relax. Close the eyes. Let the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth. Those lips gently part. And just take a moment. Probably take a deep breath in and a long sigh out through the mouth, letting everything relax to the floor. Starting just to wriggle those fingers, maybe wriggle those toes. Bring one knee at a time in towards the chest. Give those knees a squeeze in towards the belly. Keep the lower spine on the mat, the shoulders on the mat. Squeeze the knees a little tighter. Then just take a hold of the creases of the knees. Just rock up and down the spine twice to bring yourself to seated, coming up once. rolling back down, coming up twice, finding a seated position. Taking your index finger, middle finger and fourth finger, placing them over the eyes. Your little fingers dropping down by the side of the jaw and your thumbs plugging into the ears. So we're taking that bumblebee breath. So the mouth stays closed. As you breathe in through the nose, keep the lips closed. And as you breathe out, make that long sound of Release the hands to the chest, soft gaze down towards the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, have peace in your words, have peace in your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.